this is a bit of a short rant because, I'm just saying about the collecting hobby. Well, it's a bit of a disaster because, like, as much as I remember the collecting hobby when I was young, like, the teeny babies, the TYs, like I say, were that popular and people try to get them all. And, those scenarios with scalpers and those situation, but and even though with Pokemon cards, that since Pokemon came out like in the late 90s, we know the point what goes on, but I'm gonna say throughout those years with the collecting hobby, like they find something new whatsoever. Even there are some people collecting shoes, cause I get it, they want to like have them on their shelves and all this stuff, but you get the point. But I'm just say of all the situation, but now it's like Labubus again, and they're going back to Pokemon cards. But you know, I'm gonna say this in this situation. I'm not really much interested with Labubus because Labubus they're just another Funko Pop trend, just like all the other trends happen. But like to be honest, I don't like Labubus in a way because look, they're okay, but I'm just saying I don't like the like getting these toys because the thing is I don't even want to have them in my house because they're not my thing. And the thing is like, man, it's like the same thing with Funko Pops. Like I do have a Funko Pop figure. It's not open, but I'm not collecting Funko Pops because the thing is, I have like that as a prize. But even though it is still a bit of a trophy that I won second place in a cosplay contest. It was years ago in a local cosplay convention, so I kept it as a trophy. But if I ever see a Boo in the prize bag, well, I'm not gonna open it or anything. I'm just gonna keep it boxed. Then I might get, who knows? I might keep it as a trophy or just sell it away. Because the thing is, most likely I might sell it away because I don't like Labubus. Because the thing is, look, it's not my thing, and it feels like another Funko Pop. And you know, I'm just saying because in situation it gets a little too ridiculous with the collecting hobby, even the Pokemon card hobby, which let's say this, it kind of screwed me over like during this year, just like back in the either 2020 or 2021, with all the Pokemon cards are gone, they went after Yu-Gi-Oh, which I need some Yu-Gi-Oh cards because look, I collect some and I do make decks out of them to be honest. But there are those times that like when they stopped with scalper trends are going on, I was able to get some Yu-Gi-Oh cards again, and also I was able to get some Pokemon cards at that situation. And throughout the situation, let's say after what happened with why I couldn't go to anime conventions for a while, because I'm just saying that it's a bit of a long story, but it's like let's say a former friend kind of have an issue with me, and then want to try to cause a drama, cause a disturbance. I get the point, but since I know this is a bit of a short rant of a video of them recording, but you know, and even though I got to instead of like going to anime cons, I'm just going to other cons that are not related to anime whatsoever. But at least the good thing is, since I went to you know, the same event, card game, the card event, but I really want to travel more. But problem is, money is an issue, and I gotta tell you one thing for sure. With I will talk about this in a later video, but as much as I say, because this is a bit of a short rant video about collecting hobbies, but as I say, like I'm gonna say one thing that with the money issues going on, like in a short, you know, like say, don't too long, don't read situation. I'll say, look, I have some financial issues which I have a hard time to explain with what's going on, but at least I'm out of debt for now. But I'm trying to build up my wealth again. But still, trying to grind, gain some money somehow to save and all this stuff. But it's not easy. But and I know my content isn't real and everything. So yeah, let's try to continue as I say with the collecting hobby. Well, in my situation with the collecting hobby, which have now the Pokemon cards, they might gonna stop. I think by the end of the year or the next or in the beginning of the year, I think we get more Pokemon cards available. But thankfully, the Pokemon company knows what goes on. And the thing is, I'm just telling you this, people. Look, people really don't understand a thing about saving money and all this stuff because they just fall into the FOMO, cause which is it's bad, and I know TikTok is to blame, Logan Paul is to blame, and I know a lot of these influencers are to blame, but look, I can blame myself for that as well, but look, I'm just gonna be real for y'all people. Like, look, I don't even tell people to buy some Pokemon packs whatsoever. Look, I just open it for just the fun of it because am I gotta is it good to get some views? Yes, I do, but I like to try and prove and otherwise like to show if I'm getting what card I'm gonna get. Cause look, I'm trying to be more of a, like a legit person to know, like to show if I'm getting the card that I want or not. As in luck, but it's pure gambling in situations. But like the blind box trends and all this stuff, you all know what goes on. But at the end of the day, people, you all need to just be careful what you get. But as for blind box toys, if I want to get something, I just rather just buy the figure instead of just buy a random buy, no, like blind box. Because if it's a blind box, I'm just rather see if it's open. Then if it's open, I just buy the figure and that's it. Because not big of a deal to say, but if it's not a blind box, I'm just saying I just take what I need. But all no, cause I've been in a situation that I got into blind boxes back then, but I kind of stopped buying blind boxes a lot, cause a lot of people say that, and I prefer just buy the figure and that's it, cause no big deal. But even though with Pokemon cards lately, like I know throughout the situation, I stopped buying Pokemon cards back in the early 2000s because of some old classmate kinda like did the soul scare, didn't got most of my cards back from me because all the situation, because I had the hollow rare Lugia, but sadly I didn't got it back. So the thing is, years later, my psychologist got me back to Pokemon cards, and then later on, I finally got myself the base set Charizard, which is the limited, which is better than getting the Lugia anyways. But look, who knows if I'm gonna get the Neo Genesis Lugia back at some point? Cause look, it's like either if I get it from luck or somehow, but it is what it is. But as much as I say these collecting hobbies, and also I'm gonna be clear with trading cards. Well, if you're playing Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or whatever popular card games, just you gotta know this, that look, people need packs or they need to buy singles because the thing is, look, they need to build their decks and be more competitive, like which cards they need whatsoever. But you get the point with whole the situation that with trading cards is in the way. I'm just saying, like people, I'm just saying, like to collect for the art, which I understand, but at the same time, look, I get the point. I understand all this, but man, honestly, look, as much as I know Pokemon, it's not just only for adults, it's also for kids, because kids like Pokemon as well. So I'm just gonna say this, look, give kids a chance to play some Pokemon cards and collect some as well. Well, the adults, or like I say, people who have interest to basically want to play the card game. Well, look, give them a chance if they want to. That's the choice. But look, if didn't want to buy so many packs, well, single choice is just buy the singles, cause it's not much of a loss. Cause think about it, like if you want to get a certain card you need for your deck, you get it. Yeah, that's why I say the same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and all this stuff, cause you get the point. Cause I think let's try to think things through about this. Cause look, I know you want to get what you want to get, but yet you're too afraid of missing out. But look, there's nothing to be missed out a lot. Cause the thing is, I'm gonna be honestly clear. Like in my opinion, just don't let FOMO get to you. But yeah, and the thing with FOMO is, you know, for the fact that I'm just saying, just don't let it through. Save your money. Buy what you need want to buy, because that's the only thing you should learn. It's not a big deal or anything. But yeah, it's a bit of a short rant about why the collecting hobby is getting worse in the point, but at the same time, there's a light side of it. But honestly, I learned my limits, like not to collect so many things, but at the same time, look, I had to focus on, try to save my money. Like, let's say I want to get an electric bike, which is one thing, and or get another VTuber model, which is another thing, and so on and so on. Cause like, it's a lot to explain. So I know there's like wants and needs, you understand, but even though I do have bills to pay and all this stuff, so no big deal and everything. So I will see you all later on the next video, and peace out.